Top Philippine fashion designer, Rahul Laurel.
Hey guys.
Model and fashion editor, Apple Severin.
Hi.
Legendary Filipino designer, Mr. Ino Sota.
Hello, guys.
And Group Communications and Marketing Director of Instituto Marangoni, Mr. Marco Moggiano.
Nice to meet you.
Now let's meet your models. Models, I'd like to remind you that it's a competition for you as well, and the winning model will receive a fashion editorial in Preview magazine. So let's start with Russell.
Hi.
Tell us about your inspiration and your collection.
Well, basically, I was inspired by endemic species of wild birds. They can only be found in the Philippines. I used tiny fabrics, quilt blocks, small pieces of fabric na natitira sa mga factories. This treatment, na-discover ko siya sa basurahan. Thread siya, buhol-buhol, tapos pinasadahan ko siya, and it suited my inspiration, the birds. Each garment is a different bird. So basic for this one, this is an indigo branded kingfisher.
I've always liked your thought process. And I think that's your strongest asset. You are not a conventional thinker. The only thing is that when you're doing a collection, you don't have to say everything at one time. With all the images that was coming, walking down the runway, I lost your thought pattern. Your usage of color was very interesting. The way you mixed your patterns was very interesting. However, I've seen much better work from you.
I appreciate that you tried to go green. That's a very noble idea, but learn to edit.
Russell, I think you had the most interesting concept. However, in trying to tell your story, I think you failed in visually articulating what exactly it was you were trying to say. You cannot only make sense to yourself.
Yeah.
To succeed as a designer, we must all understand what it is you're trying to say.
I appreciated the idea you had about the eco-fashion, but the eco thing is just in the birds. There is nylon and elastan, and those is not ecological. In my opinion, your collection is visually strong, but I cannot call it a collection. I've seen 12 different collections. Each piece was a potential collection. You have a lots of creativity behind, but still you need to focus a little bit more.
Thank you. Next, Manny.
I use sotage material. It's all handmade. I dyed it kasi wala nang available na color din. I'm not a talker person, but I want to show my talent by my work.
You're really a brilliant technician. You say yourself that you're not a talker. Your work speaks so highly of who you are. If your model can turn around, every single thing about this dress really works for me. The only thing that doesn't work for me is that hindi siya makaupo, hindi siya makagalaw. These are dresses that should be worn.
Philippine artists and artisans are very good with their hands, and I thought you certainly show that. It is your mind that should go develop. You have to be constantly curious. It's that curiosity that will lead you to other things.
I was impressed. You have a clear structural collection. We just asked a question to the model, can you see it? And she said, no, this clothes mustn't be a self-celebration of your technical ability, which is huge. Don't forget that this clothes must be worn by a woman, must go to the office, maybe, work, and do everyday things.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Santi.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. It brought me back to Mount Makiling, where I studied for 4 years. I took the images of the mountain and fused it with the second quotation, which is all is fair in love and war. I actually approached my collection in the structure of sex. I started with foreplay and ended with climax, draping, embellishment, and pleating. I went to Benguet, Lawag, Cebu, different regions, and showed them what the Filipino can do.
I got lost in translation somehow, but you know how to entertain. I mean, you really put on a show. However, a lot of the pieces there were very unflattering on the woman. The models really looked even bigger.
You did so many treatments. Maybe you should have focused on just one and built a collection around it. It was a little confusing, kind of like your spiel earlier.
I was totally lost. Everybody refers to you as entertainer. Being an entertainer, I expected a bravura performance.
I don't know what is the process who brought you from a Filipino mountain to a shiny belt. Fashion is not entertainment. Your collection was pure entertainment. It was fun, it was beautiful, but don't forget that John Galliano made it after 25 years of career. Working with structured clothes is a mission, is very complicated. So don't put yourself into these situations because it's really difficult to come out safe. Okay? fashion is business. With this collection, I'm not sure I'm making money. Think always about the market you're referring to.
Out of all the collections, I thought it was the most showman. It's one of those things that I saw and I was like, wow. Would I go see it again? I'm not sure. Okay. Designers, thank you very much. We've heard what you had to say. Now, we're going to have a little chat and we're going to call you right back. You may leave the runway.
Salamat.
Congratulations, guys.
Salamat po.
Bravo.
Salamat po.
All right, guys. So what did we think about the collections? Now we've heard what they had to say.
The first designer had a story, but said it in so many paragraphs. Manny said it in exactly just 5 sentences. Santi, on the other hand,
Just
just
it wasn't even cohesive.
What was that you said?
It's
There was a
most
lot of-
especially when he actually said
I couldn't understand.
where he was drawing ideas from.
I was like,
He went to Ilocos for something, Cebu. Or did I hear something? Right? All of that traveling. It started in Mount Makiling, actually. That's why I understood what you were saying when what Mount Makiling had to do with Patent Bill.
yes.
He will not even dare to ask, and I didn't really even want to go that far. I think it said the least.
What did we think of Russell's collection?
Russell, on the other hand, can learn the basic fundamentals of pattern making and may know how to eventually play with fabrics. And because he has a mind that wanders in many other directions, may be able to use whatever limited technical know-how he may have and take it somewhere else.
Well, I think he has a great mind, you know, he has a lot of potential. But it wasn't so evident in this collection because there were too many things going on. There was no clear story. But if he hones his technical skills, he might go a long way.
This is the first collection I saw on each designer. What if Russell's collection would be the result of just casualty? Because this is the feeling I had. Are you sure that there is a thought behind this? The concept he gave himself, which is this bird.
Or was it all just
It
accidental?
was just accidental that it happened like this.
It feels like that.
And my feeling is, does it have a real drive on fashion? He didn't even use his interior design background, which is surprising.
Oh, is he, Russell?
Yes, yes.
Interior design.
When you have such a background, you can do amazing things in fashion. Don't forget that Gianfranco Ferré was an architect.
Yes.
This is my doubt on Russell's collection.
That's why I was a little bit disappointed because we've had the privilege of seeing his work in the past and you can really see a clear point of view and we could see where his interior design background was.
That was evident.
It was. And it was a bit lacking today.
Manny was very strong in it was tight, like we all say tight. But I thought it was also limited. No? The treatment alone. I thought he was working with a basic sloper.
Yes.
That was it, and that was the structure of the garment.
Well, as a woman, who are you designing for? It's like that question you posed earlier to Santi. A woman has to be able to wear that, and right now, it doesn't look like a woman would wear it. Could I wear a piece out of Manny's collection? Absolutely. Because it is wearable. You know, it's something that I could go into a store and say, okay, yeah, I could see myself wearing that. I will buy that.
In the years to come, sent to a school, Manny would be even better in what he's good at. But he may not necessarily be a brilliant designer. He can be a very successful businessman, on the other hand.
I think Manny hasn't had the benefit of a really good exposure, you know. Maybe Milan will open his eyes.
My perception, Manny just focused on the self-celebration of his skills.
Yeah.
He said, I want to show for the finale how good I am in doing things. And he lost the creative side of it. And you know, being creative is also being able to do the spiral.
Yes.
You know, who can judge creativity or art, you know?
Because
I know
that's
this is
his
really
strength.
difficult, but we have to come up with a decision, and we are under pressure, and we are running out of time.
The question is if you want to give a prize in general to a potentially talented guy, not necessarily talented, or to somebody who gives us the feeling that he can pursue a career out there. So this is the big issue.
The debate.
So I think we really have to figure out.
Yes. Because in terms of Russell's design, you can really see his thought process is different with Manny. he thinks on a straight line. So are we going to be giving the prize to somebody who sort of like
Goes around
who
in
goes around in
circles,
circles?
One who goes
Or
straight to the point.
what's straight to the point? And I, for one, am very conflicted. If we're going to be giving the prize to somebody who has the potential now, or will have the potential in 10 years, in 5 years, I mean,
The potential to be a designer or a master technician?
That's another question.
Yeah, but you know, I think,
I mean,
you see,
that's
I
quite
think,
difficult. I
you
feel
see,
like
the
it's a
thing
competition
with
with-
Manny and Russell, they have their strengths, huh? But they're totally on the two different lanes. Two different lanes. So I think we really have to find out, anyone who's sent to Italy, comes back to Manila, or opens a business as a good designer, or as a master technician. What do we want?
The kind of exposure this show will give a designer will really boost his business as soon as he gets off. Whoever wins this show, can we see that person succeeding?
You